Jonah chapter 2, verses 2 to 6. The prophet Jonah prayed to Yahweh, his God, from the belly of a fish. Out of my distress I called to Yahweh, and he answered me. From the womb of Sheol I cried for help, and you heard my voice. You cast me into the deep. Notice, the deep is Sheol. I thought the Sheol was deep under the earth, not in the sea. But in Jonah's understanding, it's watery. Well, is Sheol watery or dusty? And this is where a cosmology developed as people reflected on these scriptures. It must be both. It must be under, that's an attempt to reconcile. Either it's watery, the sea, or it's dusty. Maybe it's both somehow. Maybe they're connected somehow, like in the model you see. You cast me into the deep, Sheol, into the heart of the sea, and the flood enveloped me. All your breakers and your billows passed over me. Then I said, I am banished from your sight. That's right, that sounds like Sheol, the underworld, the roots of the tree. How will I again look upon your holy temple? The waters surged around me up to my neck. By the way, you see how Jonah is a kind of a resurrection story? The prophet is cast into hopelessness, into death, into being forgotten, and then he is raised up. And there's 3-day imagery in the book of Jonah. Remember Jesus in the Synoptics talks about the sign of Jonah? No sign will be given to this wicked generation except the sign of Jonah. So this is another thing fundamentalists don't get. They go around looking at whale jaws and capacity to swallow in whales and other marine organisms and stomachs to capacity to see if a human being, it makes, and then they try to make logical arguments, say, yeah, a human could actually survive for 3 days in the belly of a fish. Jonah isn't just swallowed by a fish or a sea animal. Jonah is swallowed by Sheol. You understand? That's why he can appear, he can be washed up on Nineveh, which is nowhere near an ocean, nowhere near the Mediterranean. He was heading out to go to Spain in the story. This is not a story that the author has the author's not writing a historical account. This is a beautiful fable that explains how Israelites are supposed to stay true to God and how his loving mercy extends even beyond Israel's limitations. It's a fascinating story. When you have Jonah and then you read Nahum, you have both these books. God has a very different way. Is presented very differently to the same city, Nineveh, in both Nahum and Jonah. But anyway, I digress. Jonah laments, how will I again look upon your holy temple? The waters surged around me up to my neck. The deep enveloped me. Seaweed wrapped around my head. Let's look at this. See how the earth in this model is flat? Do you see the sky vault? Do you notice how the sky vault has waters above the sky vault? Notice here, unlike in the book of Revelation, the sky vault isn't a sphere, it's a bowl. And what it's keeping out is the waters above the bowl. Here again, we have waters underneath the earth and underneath Sheol, and waters above the earth, above the sky vault, which is a firmament, a bowl made of this material, polished metal, with little holes in it. God lives above the whole thing. What remains consistent about the Israelite view of the earth if we go through the entire Bible? What we can say most generally is, no matter what way the biblical author we're reading divides the earth's parts, what's consistent is, if you're reading literature in the Bible, written at least about before 300 BCE, before the Common Era, then the earth is perceived to be a flat disk set quite firmly upon solid foundations or on pillars. Isaiah 40 verse 22. the one who is enthroned above the vault of the earth, or the circle of the earth, its inhabitants like grasshoppers, who stretches out the sky vaults like a veil, and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. Here's a picture. Interesting, the earth is a circle in this idea, covered by a bowl, enveloped by a sea, an abyss of waters, the waters of chaos. Job chapter 26, verse 10. He, God, has marked out a circle on the face of the deep, as the boundary of light and darkness. Notice on the interior of the bowl are the stars and the moon and the sun. Where did Israel get this understanding? Well, it was common Mesopotamian cosmology. Pillars of the sky are inside the cosmic ocean. The great bowl or sky vaults, probably several layers. And the stars and the sun are all over the land. You see the land? By the way, is this a scientific model of the universe? No way.
No.
Okay. Psalm 18, verse 16 follows this Mesopotamian cosmology. Then the bed of the waters appeared. The world's foundations lay bare. Those would be the pillars. Our Muslim brothers and sisters have a record of this as well in the Holy Quran. They have there's this understanding too in the thunder, in this surah. It is Allah who erected the sky vaults without pillars that you can see. It is Allah who erected the sky vaults without pillars that you can see. Then that means they're invisible. Why? Because they're covered by the cosmic waters. Then he established himself above the throne and made subject the sun and the moon, each running its course for a specified term. He arranges each matter. He details the signs that you may, of the meeting with your Lord, be certain. Perhaps the pillars holding up the sky are unseen, invisible, because they are underwater. Some Muslims who are living in our modern times, trying also, Muslims have fundamentalists just like Christians, try to say, no, the Quran, like fundamentalists think the Bible, Christian fundamentalists think the Bible is a science text. So Muslim fundamentalists like to think the Quran is a science text. Some fundamentalists, okay? And some of these Muslims will try to interpret Surah 13, verse 2, which we just read, to mean that no pillars hold up the sky. But this is not what the Quran actually says. The Quran actually says you don't see the pillars. Okay, that's what it's implying. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 29. When God made firm the sky vaults above, when he fixed fast the springs of the deep. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 8. For the pillars of the earth are Yahweh's, and he has set the world upon them. See this model? Look at that, there's pillars. Job chapter 9, verse 6. God shakes the earth out of her place, and the pillars beneath it tremble. An older view of the earth considered it to be like a square piece of cloth suspended by its four corners. Job chapter 38, verses 12 to 13. Have you ever in your lifetime commanded the morning? God tells Job. And shown the dawn its place, for taking hold of the end of the earth till the wicked are shaken from it. Isaiah 11, verse 12. The dispersed of Judah he shall assemble from the four corners of the earth. Look, there they are, the four corners. And you see what happens is even as Israel evolved its understanding of the cosmos, this archaic language of the earth, seen as a four-cornered sheet or disc or altar, stuck around. Even into a time when Israel no longer saw the universe this way. I already said that the book of Revelation saw the earth as a globe. Mind you, at the center of the universe, not moving, but a globe. Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. After this I saw four angels standing at the four corners of the earth. Wait a minute, how can the earth have four corners if the earth is a sphere? Well, that's archaic language that's stuck around. So with all of this understood and explored, let me ask this question. What then is the biblical earth? Hey, thanks for watching. Just continue the playlist for the next part of the study. If you have further questions, this is good. They will get addressed, so keep watching. If you found value, please subscribe, like, and share. As always, questions, comments, and criticisms are most welcome. God bless you.